Every year, severe weather and floods wreak havoc across the West. Winter storms, damaging winds, dense fog, flash floods, wildfires, and even tornadoes result in millions of dollars in property damage. More importantly, lives are lost in such dangerous situations. NOAA's National Weather Service is dedicated to enhancing the economic well-being of our community through effective weather forecasts, warnings, and awareness. To accomplish this mission, we use advanced weather radar, sophisticated satellite data, and advanced atmospheric computer programs. However, due to the complexity of the western terrain and its sparse population, some dangerous storms can go undetected. This is where the trained weather spotter steps in. Trained spotters provide vital information when big storms impact our communities. Without weather spotters, serious weather events may go initially unnoticed, resulting in unwarned and unprepared communities. So how did the Storm Spotter program begin? People have been fascinated by the weather for centuries. In colonial times, both Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin were avid weather watchers. They kept extensive daily logs about changing weather patterns and conditions. Shortly after the Civil War, the Weather Bureau, as the Weather Service was known then, began coordinating weather observations and issuing forecasts, but there were no organized weather spotter networks during that time. In fact, it was not until World War II that the Weather Bureau, working with the military, established spotter networks to protect weapon storage facilities. In 1949, a tornado caused millions of dollars in damage at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Only a week later, weather spotters sighted yet another tornado. Their reports led to the issuance of the world's very first tornado warning, and aircraft at Tinker Air Force Base were flown away from the danger. In the years after World War II, spotter networks were maintained for military installations, but nowhere else. It was not until a deadly tornado struck Udall, Kansas in 1955, which killed 80 people, that the Weather Bureau developed weather spotter networks. On March 8, 1959 in Wellington, Kansas, the first training course was held for 225 volunteers. In 1965, the Skywarn Weather Spotter Network was created. Skywarn volunteers provide a host of vital weather information to their local National Weather Service. During thunderstorms, they report strong winds, downbursts, hail size, lightning, rotating wall clouds, funnel clouds, and dangerous tornadoes. Flowing water is one of nature's most powerful forces. Weather spotters have been instrumental in reporting flash floods, desert floods, and river and lowland flooding. They report high winds, dust storms, blizzard conditions, and low visibilities from dense fog. In addition to hazardous weather, volunteer spotters report rainfall amounts, record snow depth, report freezing rain, and even report extreme temperatures. Spotters also report other weather-related phenomena that may assist in the decision-making process of weather service forecasters and emergency managers. These reports may include avalanches, mudslides, tsunamis, volcanoes, and wildfires. And even after the storms pass, volunteer spotters provide valuable information by reporting the extent of the weather-related damage. Did you know that less than 10% of the Skywarn spotter network is in the western U.S.? We need your help. Weather radar indicates rotation in thunderstorms, but only spotters can tell us if a tornado actually formed and its exact location. Likewise, weather satellites can indicate areas where precipitation is falling, but only you can tell us what type it is and how much. Radar may indicate where hail is forming in a thunderstorm. You can tell us if it is reaching the ground and what size it is. Volunteer storm spotters are an integral part of the National Weather Service warning decision-making process. Their reports are invaluable in making accurate and timely forecasts and warnings. Your report may be broadcast on radio and television during a severe weather event, which may save lives and property.
The National Weather Service has just issued a flash flood warning for our local mountains. Here's a look at some rainfall totals within the last hour. Julian picked up about 3/4 of an inch, about a half an inch in Campo, and one of our weather spotters in Mount Laguna reported more than an inch of rain. The heavy rain is expected to continue for at least the next hour. If flooding is occurring in your area, please move to higher ground and secure your property.
Your report will help first responders determine which areas need assistance, and will give others a sense that local citizens are interested and active in community safety. Spotter observations provide climatological information for future uses by industries, insurance companies, researchers, and farmers. And most importantly, your spotter report may save someone's life. Being a volunteer spotter takes very little time, only a minute or two to notify the weather office when adverse weather is observed. And you can call the nearest National Weather Service office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Spotters are people just like you who are interested in the weather and helping their community. Many volunteers are people who work outdoors, such as police officers, firefighters, pilots, truckers, farmers, and ranchers. Anyone can be a storm spotter. It just takes that special person who wants to pass along weather information. Volunteers receive 2 hours of training provided by National Weather Service meteorologists. The training covers such items as how storms develop and what types of weather to report to the National Weather Service. Because of the varied hazardous weather conditions, we also train spotters to observe safely without getting into trouble. Most observers receive rain gauges, reporting forms, and storm spotter guides when volunteering. Providing valuable weather reports takes only a minute or two. You can send your report by calling our toll-free number anytime, day or night. Sometimes a National Weather Service forecaster may want to contact you for information. You provide us the times you're available, and even if you're not available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the National Weather Service is. Another method of relaying weather information is by amateur radio. Radio communications are particularly valuable when routine methods of communication are cut off due to hazardous weather conditions. Some National Weather Service offices can also receive spotter reports through the internet, which is a great way to relay significant weather information. The volunteer Skywarn spotter plays an integral part in the National Weather Service warning process. By taking steps to learn more about weather hazards, volunteer spotters provide accurate, first-hand, real-time reports to the National Weather Service. These reports are then passed along to the media and emergency responders. Just as Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin were avid weather watchers, today's weather enthusiast can now assist their community by becoming a Skywarn spotter.
Out here in the West, it's a different game. Terrain is complex, it's just not the same. Mountain ranges are challenging, compromising the radar beam, and there's never been a greater need for volunteers to invest. Once you've been trained as country.